Hey guys, welcome to Podcast vs Players. Can you believe it / believe it or not? This is our little game show where I read down 3 bits of weird news. 2 of them are true and actually happened, and 1 is a big fat stinking lie. And Dan has to decipher which one is the lie.
Yes.
So far, it's 3-0 to Dan.
Yeah.
He's like a weird detective.
I am a detective, I think you'll find. I've been playing plenty of LA Noire, I've been playing Murdered Soul Suspect.
Wolf Among
Only one
Us.
of those has actually got anything to do with detectives at all. And I've only failed a few missions, so I'm basically a detective now.
That's as good as anything.
I'd say.
I've been playing Disney Infinity, so I'm not a detective.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if you can actually go 10 minutes without fucking mentioning Disney Infinity.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah, of course it is.
You shut your dirty face. Right. Anyway, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's begin.
Number 1, throw it at me.
The $2.5 million man boobs.
Next, that'll do.
An Alabama man who grew enormous breasts after taking an antipsychotic drug as a boy was awarded $2.5 million in damages at a Philadelphia court yesterday against the Johnson & Johnson subsidiary that makes the pill. A common pleas jury concluded that Austin Pledger, now 20, was, quote, not adequately warned that he would grow size 46 double D breasts as a side effect of using Risperdal, produced by Johnson Pharmaceuticals, according to his lawyer, Thomas Klein. Robin Reed Friends, Janssen's director of product communication, said the firm rejects the claims and the FDA-approved label, quote, properly warned the boy's family of the medication's potential side effects. She added Pledger's quality of life was significantly improved during the time he was taking Risperdal, except for the fact that he had big fat titties. The jurors apparently disagreed. Pledger's case is the first of more than 1,200 filed in Philly over Risperdal to be settled, according to Klein.
Okay, so he grew some big old boobies after
Fucking
taking
huge boobies.
Well, assuming that, you know, he's not enjoying maybe the extra boobage. I mean, you'd certainly give it a go for a while, wouldn't you?
As a 20-year-old boy.
Boy?
Yeah, well, man.
There you go.
As a 20-year-old man now, he's got a lot of hormones racing. Probably more so now.
Right.
Probably more than most 20-year-olds.
That'd be hard to find.
I'd enjoy them.
Well, I think you'd get a bit of use out of them. Show your friends and stuff.
Yeah. I'd do webcams and stuff.
Definitely, yeah. Just earn what you can off it and say, right, enough of this. Whip them off.
Yeah, get them off.
So, was this guy, was he a large fella, should we say?
He was a lot bigger after.
Not just in the booble area.
Maybe.
It's just that, you know, if he was my sort of size, or your sort of size, which isn't big by any means, apart from certain parts, obviously.
Yeah, you got long legs.
Yeah, right. It's just that obviously that would be, you know, if you came out with a heaving rack, then people just be like, what the fuck's going on there? It's like, don't ask, bloody pills. But, you know, if he was 30 odd stone, probably wouldn't notice.
Well, to be fair, I think he's 30 stone, 46 double D breasts is pretty large.
That's probably a shrinkage, if anything. I couldn't believe the results. After only 3 weeks, my breasts reduced in size.
So much cheaper.
Okay, so he grew bosoms.
Big old bosoms.
Big old bosoms. But that is obviously partly, you know, any kind of medication has got a potential side effect.
Yeah, but that's a pretty big side effect.
It is.
A lot of them, like surely, nausea.
You know, when he got, like, to, you know, 32B, did he not go, this is a bit weird? Why did he wait until they were, like, literally, like, resting on his children's head?
We don't know how long this case has gone on for.
What, so he's just kept on taking it? They've just got progressively bigger?
Well, he obviously needed the medication to take them in the first place.
Okay, alright, big booby man, next.
Man's testicles get stolen by gang. 30-year-old TV personality Dmitry Nikolaev is believed to be the target of a gang that roams around hangouts to look for potential victims wherein they can harvest organs to sell on the black market. Nikolaev just woke up with his testicles removed from him, and the only thing he can remember was that he had a drink with a young blonde at a bar. According to the Mail Online, Nikolaev narrated what happened to him moments before he fell asleep and had his testicles stolen from him by an organ-snatching gang. He told authorities that he only had a drink with a young blonde woman which he met at a bar in a theatre from Moscow. The two got along well as she invited him to a sauna. There are beliefs that his drink was drugged to make him fall asleep. Nikolov then woke up the next day at a bus stop in acute pain and noticed blood coming from his trousers. He got hospitalised and he was told by the medical staff that his testicles had been removed. And what shocks him is the procedure of removing the testicles was most likely done by a medical profession. Police believe the gang is stealing human organs to sell on the black market, and they did not only consist of con artists to lure victims, but they also have doctors who cooperate with their operations.
Okay. So, was this guy also visited by demons in the middle of the night by any chance?
I think he may have been told by demon ladies to cut his testicles off.
To whip them off and, yeah. It's just like, yeah, my testicles are gone. Those are some nice earrings you've got. Oh, what? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, human body snatching, organs and stuff on the black market. I don't know how much of that is actually real. How much is sort of overdone by the media. And obviously, it's a big thing in TV shows and especially in video games and stuff as well. They're just interesting baddies. Because they're just faceless guys who,
steal testicles.
Yeah, I mean, why testicles though? Why? What possible use could you get out of those? Because all you'd get is somebody else's children.
That's providing they still work.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're that, say if you jump on a horse.
What's ended up on eBay?
Well, as
Used
I've never heard of
the
guy. Yeah, partly owned. Yeah. But assuming that they did work, then the only sperm they would be producing would be the other guys, I'd assume. But if you lost your balls in it, you jumped from a barn roof onto a horseback, something like that, and you exploded your own balls. If you were that bothered about them not being there, surely when something like this happens, like a big accident or something, an industrial accident, and you lose your balls, it all happens. Everyone has that happen to them at least once. I'm pretty sure that there's like just a marble or something they just stick in its place because they say, well, obviously we can't replace them because if you had children, that's the point of them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be yours anyway, so you may as well just we'll rebuild the scrotal area. We'll just fill it in with a bit of a so people maybe don't
blue
notice. Yeah, just a bit of gaffer tape. And then you're sort of on your way again. So,
I'd have one with a zip so I could interchange the balls.
Well, if you could use it as like a Newton's cradle. Or what you could do is if you had like a zip. Or no, I tell you what I'd do if I lost my balls, and this is going out to any lawyers of mine maybe. If I'm in a coma and lose my testicles.
From a coma?
No, just I ended up in a coma from substantial ball loss. What I'd want instead is I'd want it to be like a hard drive or something. So I'd just unclick it and then it would just slot into the USB port and people would just be like, what the fuck? So, I want a terabyte bollock, that's what I want.
Each or 500 gig per ball?
Well, they're pretty pricey for a terabyte hard drive, especially making them into bollock shape.
Yeah, man, I got two for 40 quid each.
That's true, but they're not testicle sized, are they?
They're my testicle size.
Well, it's true. Okay, well, man wakes up with no balls, okay.
Yeah. Pigeon steals a man's hearing aid.
Alright.
Whilst holidaying in Barafundle Bay in Wales, Brian Pentucco was feeding a group of seagulls the remains of chips that he, his wife and 2 children were sharing. Pentucco, originally from Derby, said his daughters loved the noises the seagulls made as they clamoured for the scraps of food. Little did he know, though, that a stray pigeon also fancied some of the action and made a direct attack. Only after colliding with Pentucco's head, the pigeon made off with his hearing aid. Alan Turner, Tourism Development Manager at Pembrokeshire County Council's tourism team, was at the scene of the attack and said it was the peacefulness and seclusion offered by Barafundle Bay that saw its tourists gather here. What they do not expect is to be attacked by the local wildlife. Pentucco was not harmed and still enjoyed the remainder of his holiday, adding, "We love Barafundle, it's a real special beach. One of the best things about it is there's no car park, no cafe and no ice creams, so it feels you're on a deserted island," which for the last few days was just as quiet as being on one.
I like the fact that you said that at the scene of the crime, the only person there wasn't like a reporter or a policeman, it was someone from the tourist board. It's like, for God's sake, keep coming. This is an isolated incident. But, you know, please bear in mind that we don't have any cafes, we don't have any ice cream salesmen, we don't have a car park, which means that it's impossible to get to, you can't eat anything when you get here, and there's no lovely ice cream to enjoy on the beach. So please come.
Just fuck off. The thing is, though, I've been there, and it's only the beach area that hasn't got any. Like, well, if you go over there's like a wall, and if you jump over the wall, there's like a fucking town and stuff.
Right. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're
he's a liar.
If you're feeding pigeons and stuff on the beach or wherever, and then a pigeon makes off with whatever you've got, I don't know. You're kind of asking for it, really.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't feed wildlife. That's why I don't feed wildlife.
Well, maybe you do feel wildlife. I don't know.
That's a different story.
You know, ducks and swans and stuff, you know where you stand with them, they're not going to come back onto the riverbank, and you can just throw them a bit of bread or whatever, and everyone's happy. But, you know, you start fidgeting...
You start fidgeting these pigeons.
Yeah. You start feeding pigeons, like, you wouldn't go to Trafalgar Square with a big thing of Warburtons, would you? You'd get... you'd get absolutely
just stood
mugged.
in the middle of them eating a Subway.
No, you just have to take it out the carrier bag, and it would just be like that scene out of Dracula Untold. They would just crash down upon you, and just you'd be left, you know, just in your pants. Your wallet's gone. You're just crawling away, just like, what the fuck just happened?
You just hear your car unlock, and they see me rolling.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got.
So you've got, in order, $2.5 million man boobs.
Yeah. Dude who loses testicles, and then pigeon attack.
Yeah.
And what, I'm after the false one? Or
the false one.
The one that's not...
Yeah, there's two. There's two real, and there's one false one.
Okay, so we've got Mr. Man Boobs. I imagine there are quite a few side effects when it comes to sort of medical things. However, things that get released and are FDA approved usually don't have that severe of a side effect. Especially with that amount of number as well. You know, so there was like 1,000 or so people that had the same problem.
1,200.
Yeah, okay. After about 20, you'd say there might be something wrong with this, and it would get recalled. It wouldn't. I don't think it would last that long. With the Testicle Man, I can't think of many reasons for people to actually amputate bollocks. There's just no reason for them, unless it's a trophy in that sort of gangland kind of way. If you'd have woke up and he'd had his liver or his kidney or something missing, that's a different story. That's a useful kind of body part. But someone's balls. I'm sure it's much cheaper and, you know, a lot less illegal to just, you know, pop a few Kinder eggs in there or something.
It's a treat every time.
Well, yeah, you know, when the chocolate melts, you get a little treat in your ballsack. It's great. And then the pigeons, I don't know, pigeons on a beach. Seagulls on a beach. Not many pigeons knocking about on a beach.
I don't know, Dan. I think you'd be very pleasantly surprised. No, not pleasantly surprised. You'd be very surprised.
I don't know. Pigeons and seagulls don't really, you know, they're sort of the vermin of their respective parts. You know, pigeons have the town. It's like a gang war. Pigeons have towns.
And like a gang war.
And seagulls have the coast. You know, and Brighton and that.
Oh, there's no such thing as a seagull.
All right, a land gull. Calm down.
Yeah. They're just gulls.
Yeah. Well, either way, the big white ones and the stupid shitty grey ones, either way, they don't tend to mix because they just kick the shit out of each other. Pigeons have numbers, but the gulls have the strength, I'd say. They just got them in headlocks.
It's like Grease. West Side Story.
Yeah. They're just like, they've got a toothpick in their mouth and they're just continually combing their hair back.
Hey, Sandy.
But as for the one that's not true, you've come up with an interesting few choices here. Okay, so we've got the $1 million boobs.
4.5 million.
Well, yeah, you know, 1.25 per boob. Assuming that one wasn't bigger than the other.
Well, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see pictures of this, I think, in order to fully... I want to see a pigeon or a gull of some kind ripping someone's hearing aid out. I want to see a guy waking up on a bus bench with his trousers just full of blood, just like, what? And then I want to see a guy with, like, 2 boobs in respective scales. And it's just like, this is it. This is how much each one of them weighs. I want compensation per gram. But... if I was to say which one was false, I think I'm going to have to take a punt on this one, because I don't think you've given me much to give me some wiggle room on. So, if I'm going to take a punt, I'm going to say... the missing bollocks. I'm going to go for the amputated bollocks. I'm going to say that's rubbish.
So, it was 3-0.
Okay, no, none of this... You're not Davina McCall, right? None of this bullshit. You either say it's right or it's wrong.
We've got to build up to it, Dan.
No,
There's
you haven't.
tension.
We're already like 15 minutes into this. It's gone on long enough. I want to know.
You're wrong.
Piss!
It was the pigeon.
The pigeon. I knew it. It was between those two. It was genuinely between those two, but I thought the pigeon was a bit of a safer option.
See,
that probably happens all the time.
And the best thing about this is, because it was originally a seagull, that's what I'd originally wrote, but I thought... Dan won't think there's pigeons on a beach.
Which is exactly what
which will throw him off, which is actually, as you say, that's what happened. Yeah. But you'd also be wrong, because there's lots of pigeons on beaches in England.
Not that the beaches I've been to.
Quite a few. It was actually, on my last holiday, I think I saw more pigeons than I did fucking seagulls.
Maybe they've, got some body armour, and they're all carrying flick knives now.
That wasn't actually an accurate number. I couldn't say how many I saw.
There was quite a few, I imagine.
But what is important is, Dan, you've lost.
Yeah, you got me on that one. It was between the two, and I think you went for the trickier one. Well done.
It's alright, I've been working hard.
I bloody am.
Right, on your ridiculous defeat, have you got any final words?
I hope to improve my game, come back, drink a few Red Bulls, and then intellectually beat the shit out of you, yet again.
We shall see. Say goodbye, Dan.
Goodbye, Dan.
Goodbye, Dan.